Shouldn't take too long.
No, and then we've got to get, well, you don't, I do. We've got to get over to the police department after this.
Oh, is it that thing tonight?
Yeah. Okay, call the meeting to order. We need to discuss possibly approve minutes of September 26, 2023, special meeting. Do I have a motion?
I have a motion.
Motion, I'll second the motion. Discussion. Call for a vote.
Shropshire?
Yes?
Trammell?
What are we doing?
Minutes.
Either
Approving the minutes.
abstain.
Okay. So, next thing is presentation of quarterly workers' compensation report by Brown and Brown. I'll entertain a motion.
Motion.
Motion made, I'll second it. Motion made and seconded. Call for a vote. Do we have to vote on this one?
Yeah, you shouldn't need a motion or a vote, it's just a presentation.
Okay, that sounds good.
So in front of you, we have this manila folder. Okay, I'm gonna go through a couple things. This is just gonna be very quick, high level on where we're at. We're well in advance of what we're doing. Also gonna brag on the fire department a little bit. Actually, we're gonna do that first. So there's 4 documents in this folder. This sheet right here with comp source at the top left, these are the loss runs. We're gonna put these away for a minute. And then this gray, white, and yellow paper, we're gonna put that away as well. We're gonna go that second. So the first thing I'm gonna focus on is a letter from October 14th, addressed to Mr. Birch. And really what it was is Ed Shepard is the loss control consultant for CompSource that's been assigned to this account. He works with us with safety and loss control with all of our accounts here in Oklahoma, Northeast Oklahoma. So he went out and visited with them. He had made some minor recommendations to the fire department, nothing major, just some clearing out of some electrical spaces, things of that. Nothing major. It's all minor stuff, and really they have to put something in their documentation folder. So very minor things. The one thing that I want to really brag on is the very bottom sentence here, and mine's highlighted, yours won't be. But from Ed, I want to express how minimal these findings were. Typically, an exposure of this size, meaning a city or a fire department, would have many more deficiencies. Several fire departments, or this fire department, exceeds expectations of anyone else that they've seen. So our fire department is doing an absolutely fantastic job. CompSource has no problem, and they're really commending them for how well they've done. The second document that we'll look at, it's an email chain. It's kind of a precursor with this one. They'll have Ed Shepard at the top, and its address, it starts with, "Hey, Chris." Just kind of explaining what this letter to Charles is going for. There's several items that I listed out, but mostly these are very minor at best. Again, they just had to fill something out. One of the things they wanted to address, and it's outside of our purview, this is something that OMAG would need to assist with, is that some of the vehicles may fall under DOT, but don't have the right requirements or FMCSA record keeping. But that's stuff that OMAG could help with. Again, CompSource doesn't do the auto insurance. We don't work with OMAG for you all, so we're kind of limited on what we can say. But he said that we're more than welcome to contact OMAG to get up to date with DOT. It's pretty simple stuff. And then kind of as a precursor, the last sentence, matter of fact, the fire department at the city exceeded any safety standard that I have ever seen for a fire department. So the fire department's doing a phenomenal job right now. So those are those 2 documentations that we have there. So going into the workers' comp, the mod stuff. So what we're wanting to do is kind of prepare us for August of 2024. And this is way down the road, but we want to keep an eye on it right now. The current modifier rating is a 0.96. That's very good. In 2024, it is going to increase. It just will, but we need to try to limit as much as it can increase. What is going to help us is on page 2 of 4 on this cover sheet right here. They're all single-sided, so we don't have to look front and back. Page 2 of 4. So in 2024, this is the claims data and the payroll for the 2019-2020 policy. 2024, that's going away. That's gonna fall off the record. Then what's gonna happen is 22 and 23, those claims and payroll are gonna come on. So, it'll change year over year. So what we're gonna see in 2024 is we're gonna lose $7.2 million in payroll, but also $42,000 in claims. What's gonna benefit us is that in 22, 23, we had more payroll. So more payroll helps us. That helps bring down our modifier. There's $42,000 in claims that are gonna go away. Right now, for 22, 23, there's a handful of claims that we're keeping our eye on that are still open, just for personal secrecy, I guess. I'm not gonna list any names. I'll send this to Lisa and Courtney just in an email so we can track who has open claims, just what we're keeping an eye on. This past year, we did have 21 work comp claims, but a lot of those are medical only. Those are okay. We want those. Right now, what the record's gonna show is that there's $170,000 in claim payments that we had this year. It's gonna be a little misleading because a lot of that is open reserves. It's maybe money. It's money that hasn't been spent that all the insurance carriers put aside. They may need it for an infection post-surgery, or if somebody gets an attorney. They always overestimate on these claims. So total paid actual claims are at 70,000. So again, the mod is gonna go up next year, but we're gonna try to limit as much of that as possible. Again, 95,000 of that 170 is maybe money. So the more of that amount that we can carve off and get these claims closed, the better that's gonna help us. Worst case scenario is what I listed with Lisa, and this is probably not going to happen. But if we closed out the year as is, all these numbers hit exactly spot on, that modifier is gonna be somewhere in the 1.35, 1.4 area. I don't expect it's gonna be that big. But worst case scenario, that would mean our annual premium in August would be somewhere around 230,000. It's 190 right now. Again, that's worst case scenario. A lot of these claims are open with large reserves on them because they're fairly new and we're tracking them. So we'll get these taken care of. And again, every quarter we'll have more of an update on who's where. I know some people are having follow-up physical therapy meetings. There's some that have second opinions coming. So this is a very fluid number, but I'd rather shoot high, think worst case scenario, and then work off of that. One benefit that we've got on that worksheet on page 4, there was one open claim that we had talked about last year. We've followed up with CompSource, and that has been closed out. Again, I'm not going to use names, but in a separate email after this, I'll share it with you so you can kind of just track who's who. That claim at the time was open at $42,000. It's been closed at $28,000. So again, that kind of shows you just how high they over-reserve those claims. So that's going to bring $14,000 in claims off next year. So we're in a good spot. We're keeping an eye on these claims. Every quarter, we're going to come out and do these. Every month, we'll kind of track this and kind of give an idea. Sometime around late February, early March, we'll know what the official rating is. So there is going to be an increase this year, but we'll have plenty of time to budget for it. We'll have plenty of time to go over what expectations are and work with CompSource. I can tell you that having that kind of loss report or a safety consult report from Ed, that the fire department is probably one of the better ones that they have, that helps us in the negotiation stage, right? And that we're keeping an eye on claims, we're getting them closed out. So CompSource is very happy with you all. You know, they've said that the claims that you all have turned in for a city in similar size is on the lower end of what they see. So we're not in any hot water with them. But again, we'll keep track on these. I'll send out an itemized breakdown on what open claims we're tracking, who we're tracking. But again, just for public record, we don't need to put names out there. But we're making sure they're getting taken care of, and we'll get them back to health and get them on the job. So we're in a good spot. Lisa and Courtney have done a really good job keeping us informed on what's going on, who's going where. So they've been instrumental in this. But that's kind of where we're at right now. I mean, it's early after the renewal. This is pretty light for the first meeting. The one in December, January is gonna have a little bit more meat on it, because we'll have a couple more months of claims and doctor's visits and physical therapy and stuff like that. So, again,
Are these all still active?
they are, so that's as of today. So when you wanna look through these, so I'll just kinda go through without mentioning any specifics.
Well, the question I'm wondering,
Yeah.
do we need to give these back to you before we leave? This is the patient or whatever, and what happened, is that under any way, I would use the word term HIPAA or something like that?
I don't think so. I mean, it's a loss run. It just tells you a very brief description. I mean, you can do as you see fit with them. I wouldn't post it to any kind of
Okay.
public agenda, right? But internally, we could do that, or if it would benefit you, I could take this and redact it. And then if Lisa or if there's only one file that has names on it, just so we can coordinate. I mean, I can send you a redacted version with their names blocked out.
Well, the whole thing is, I would just not want to get in any kind of trouble if this got out that their actual names were on all of these reports.
Sure. Yeah, this
I'm
is-
not a lawyer, so I don't know.
Yeah, this is stuff that's not public information. ComSource will only share it with us, and executive officers be the mayor, Lisa, and Courtney. So they're the only ones that see names.
Okay,
And really, as far as we're concerned, we don't care about the names. It just helps us to reference it.
sure,
Okay, we know person X is back at work. They're just getting followed up with. So it's just reference points. But yeah, I wouldn't post anything to any public records or anything like that.
sure,
Again, that might be something the attorney can answer, but
yeah,
if he makes the recommendation that from now on, we redact the claimant names, that's totally fine.
okay,
And we're not focused on the name, we're just focused on where are they at. And again, it helps us, hey, he's back, she's back, so-and-so's got a doctor's appointment tomorrow. So again, it's just reference point, going here, so that's a good question. So if we need to follow up with the attorney, that's totally fine.
yeah, I just don't want to.
Yeah, I understand the sentiment. I wouldn't want you to get in trouble either. So any other questions that I can answer? I know it's kind of high level.
We really, I mean, if you could just kind of go over the headings right there on that last page and let us know what we're talking about here.
Okay, so what page are we looking at, Troy?
Just this one here.
Yeah.
You've got all of these different line items at the top, or whatever you want to call them. What does that actually tell us?
Yeah. So, we'll work on this top box right here. So we're gonna go left to right. So this is for the current term that we're in right now. So this is 23-24. We're not worried about that right now.
Okay,
It's kind of a poor cutoff, but what we're really worried about is this next section, because that's for 22-23. So let's flip to page 2.
Okay.
So we can kind of have an idea on what we're looking at. So this first column just tells us our policy number. Doesn't really matter to us. Okay, that's just internal stuff. The effective dates and the expiration date is when was this policy active. So these are claims from the August 1st of 22 to 23. This fourth column, that's just a claim number. That internally, if we say claim 0001,
you know where to go.
that's where we're looking, yeah. And those are the numbers that they use on this worksheet instead of names. That's the claim number over here. So you can
Okay.
correlate who's who on these numbers. Obviously, we know that what that fifth column means. The description, just a brief summary of what happened. It's just an overview from the adjuster. Injury date, that's when the accident occurred. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th column. Injury date, that's when the accident happened. The status, that's if the claim has been closed or finalized, it's done, or if it's open. That means there's still some work to be done on that one. So that's how you delineate whose claims are open and who's closed. This next column is how much in medical cost have been paid out. The following column is how much lost time, how much in wages they've been paid out.
Okay,
So that's that lost time that we talked about in the past. The open reserves, that's how much potential, what actuarially they're reserving for medical costs. Maybe in the future, they may not need it, they may. Open indemnity, same deal. That's what they may or may not pay out. That's usually where your impairment, so if somebody has a shoulder surgery.
Mhm.
They'll get an impairment check at the end of the day. That's where that little bucket comes from. The second to last column, that's if our employees were injured by somebody else and CompSource has to go get that money back. That's where that column talks about. And then the total cost is just the addition of all of those together. So if you go, and I'll end on this one to kind of show you. Let's go to page 6 of 13. Okay. So with CompSource loss runs, this dark blue, that's the summation line. So what this is saying is, okay, we had that many claims in 22, 23. That's where that 21's coming from I talked about.
21 claims, yep.
Yep, you see it?
Mhm.
Okay, and then you go all the way over to the right, that number here, that's how much for that year they've paid out in actual medical costs, actual indemnity. So that's how much actually been paid, those first two. And then how much maybe is gonna be spent in medical costs, how much maybe in indemnity. So that's where that grand total of 170, that's how you can tell, okay, how much is funny money, those bar two columns added together, and how much has actually been paid out.
But they're gonna have to be closed before we know that.
Yeah, we want to close these out. So we have 6 months after the policy renews. So we've got February 1st, the door shuts.
Mhm.
If a claim closes on February 2nd, it's gonna show as open on this. So our options are either get the claim closed before February 1st, or in certain situations, the carrier can lower the reserve temporarily and then increase it if they need to. It's case by case basis. But yeah, we want this number to be as low as possible, these two combined numbers as low as possible before February 1st. That's what we're trying to needle down. So that's how you read loss runs. It's a lot of information, but it's good information to have. So that's how you read one of these things.
We're not taking any action tonight. This is-
No, we're just seeing where we're at.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. Thank you all very
You got
much.
any questions?
Thank you.
Hey, you're very
I
welcome.
appreciate it. This is the first one we've seen of these.
You're welcome. We'll schedule the next one.
Lisa, do you want these back?
The stuff with the names, yeah, I can, if you would want those, just so they're not accidentally.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm wondering about here.
Y'all would probably be more interested in this one right here, this is what overall, the one
Yeah.
with
Oops.
the NCCI number. Yeah, that one.
The one of four-
That
four
one
page
is
one.
gonna be lots of good information for you.
All right, we sure appreciate it.
You're very welcome. What we'll do tomorrow is we'll send Courtney and Lisa just a summation email, all this stuff, there won't be any names. and
Okay.
that way we can just have it for the record.
Just for safety.
Yes.
Yeah.
I completely appreciate it.
Okay, sounds good. All right, we're talking about scheduling this next meeting. We probably won't have any at this time.
Lisa,
And I'll take a motion to adjourn.
motion.
Seconded. Call for the vote.
Trammell,
Yes.
Shropshire.
Yes, we are adjourned. That wasn't bad, was it?
No.
And that's a lot more information.